Hello, and welcome to 20 Minutes with Jesus. Take a slow breath. Let your heart become attentive. Sometimes God doesn't remove things, He reorders them. Let's begin. There are seasons when life looks mostly the same on the outside, but something subtle begins to shift on the inside. What once felt urgent no longer carries the same weight. What once demanded your attention starts to feel quieter. And without realizing it at first, your priorities begin to change. This can feel confusing. You may wonder why certain things no longer move you the way they used to. Goals that once energized you now feel heavy. Conversations that once consumed your thoughts seem less important. And in this quiet shift, you may feel slightly disoriented. Not because something is wrong, but because something is being reordered. God often works this way. Before He changes direction, He changes focus. Before He moves you outwardly, He realigns you inwardly. Reordering priorities is one of God's gentle ways of guiding without forcing. This process rarely feels dramatic. There is no crisis announcing it, no clear command explaining it. Just a gradual awareness that your heart is no longer centered where it once was. God knows that lasting change cannot be rushed, so He begins by adjusting what the heart values. He softens attachments. He shifts attention. He invites you to release what once felt essential so that space can be made for what truly matters. This can feel uncomfortable. Letting go of old priorities may feel like losing direction. You may fear becoming less productive, less driven, or less focused. But God is not removing purpose. He is refining it. Reordering is not loss, it is alignment. When God reorders your priorities, He is protecting your heart from carrying weight it was never meant to hold. He is teaching you how to invest energy wisely. He is inviting you to live with intention rather than urgency. This often reveals how much pressure you have been carrying. You may realize that certain goals were fueled by comparison, that some responsibilities were driven by expectation rather than calling, that some habits existed more from routine than from purpose. God gently brings these into the light, not to condemn, but to heal. Reordering also invites trust. Trust that you do not need to chase everything that once mattered. Trust that letting go does not mean falling behind. Trust that God knows how to lead you into what is next. This season often feels quiet, but it is deeply intentional. God is not asking you to stop caring. He is teaching you what to care about and how much weight each thing should carry. As this episode begins, allow yourself to notice these shifts without resisting them. You do not need to force clarity. You do not need to rush decisions. God is at work, gently reordering your priorities so that your life can move forward with peace, focus, and alignment. Something is changing, not loudly, but wisely, and God is leading you through it. God rarely changes direction suddenly. Before He leads you into something new, He prepares your heart to carry it. And one of the clearest ways He does this is by reordering priorities. He knows that a new path cannot be walked well with old attachments weighing the heart down. Reordering priorities is God's way of creating space. Space for clarity. Space for discernment. Space for peace. When everything feels equally urgent, nothing is truly aligned. God gently teaches the heart how to distinguish between what is necessary and what is merely demanding attention. This discernment protects you from living reactively. God does not rush redirection because misaligned priorities can distort calling. If God redirected your path without first reordering your priorities, you might bring the same pressures, distractions, and unhealthy motivations into the next season. So He begins internally, adjusting focus before changing movement. This process often feels like loss at first. you may feel less driven, less motivated by old goals, less interested in things that once mattered deeply. But this is not apathy. It is clarity forming. God is not removing passion. He is refining it. He is separating what truly matters from what merely filled space. This refinement allows future obedience to be lighter, freer, and more intentional. Reordering also reveals trust issues. You may realize how much security was tied to productivity, how much identity was tied to achievement, how much peace was tied to control. God gently loosens these ties so trust can deepen. When priorities are reordered, dependence shifts from self-management to God's guidance. This shift is essential. God values obedience that flows from trust, not pressure. When priorities are aligned, obedience becomes responsive rather than exhausting. You move because God leads, not because urgency demands it. Reordering priorities also reshapes boundaries. You begin to recognize what deserves your energy and what does not. You become more selective, not less loving. You learn how to say no without guilt and yes with intention. These boundaries protect the heart and preserve focus. God knows that future seasons may require strength and clarity. By reordering your priorities now, He ensures that when redirection comes, you are not overwhelmed. You will recognize what matters immediately because your heart has already been trained. This process often happens quietly. No announcement, no timeline, just an increasing sense of peace around certain choices and restraint around others. God often communicates alignment through peace. When something is no longer aligned, peace begins to fade. When something is meant to remain, peace stays present. Learning to follow peace becomes a key part of discernment during this season. Reordering priorities also invites surrender. You release the need to control outcomes. You loosen your grip on plans. You trust that God's timing is intentional. This surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom being formed. God reorders priorities because He cares about sustainability. He is not preparing you for a moment. He is preparing you for a season. Sustainable faith requires aligned priorities. Without them, even good paths can become burdensome. If today you sense that your priorities are shifting, resist the urge to label it as confusion or loss. This may be God preparing you for redirection that will feel natural rather than forced. As this episode continues, allow yourself to trust this internal work. You do not need to chase clarity. You do not need to force movement. God is gently preparing your heart so that when the path changes, you will walk it with peace and purpose. Reordering is not delay. It is preparation. And God knows exactly what He is doing. One of the clearest signs that God is reordering your priorities is not found in what He removes, but in what He quiets. There are seasons when certain things simply lose their grip on your heart. Not because they were wrong, but because they are no longer central. This shift often feels subtle. You are still responsible. You are still faithful. You still care. But the intensity changes. What once consumed your thoughts no longer dominates them. What once felt essential now feels secondary. And in this quiet rearranging, God is teaching the heart how to live with intention rather than pressure. God reorders priorities by reshaping desire. He does not force detachment. He invites it. He gently adjusts what the heart longs for. This is why reordering often feels internal before it ever looks practical. You may not change your schedule immediately, but you feel less driven by it. You may not change commitments right away, but their weight begins to shift. This is God's wisdom at work. If He removed things abruptly, the heart might resist. But by softening attachment, he allows you to release willingly. This kind of release is healing, not painful. God is not asking you to care less. He is teaching you what to care about most. When priorities are misaligned, everything feels urgent. Every request feels heavy. Every decision feels overwhelming. But when God begins to reorder priorities, urgency gives way to clarity. The heart learns how to distinguish between what is important and what is simply loud. This clarity brings peace. You begin to respond rather than react. You choose rather than comply. You act with intention rather than obligation. God knows that a scattered heart cannot walk steadily. So he gathers your focus. He teaches you how to live from alignment rather than exhaustion. Reordering priorities also exposes hidden motivations. You may realize that some pursuits were fueled by comparison, that some commitments existed because of expectation, that some goals were driven more by fear of falling behind than by calling. God does not shame these discoveries. He gently brings them into the light so healing can begin. This healing restores freedom. When priorities are reordered, you are no longer driven by fear. You stop chasing what was never meant to sustain you. You stop carrying weight that does not belong to you. This freedom allows obedience to feel lighter. God also reorders priorities to protect intimacy. Busyness can quietly replace connection. Even good responsibilities can crowd out time with God if the heart is not attentive. God reorders priorities so relationship remains central. He ensures that activity does not replace presence. This is not about doing less for God. It is about being more with Him. When God becomes the center again, everything else finds its proper place. Work, service, relationships, and responsibilities are no longer competitors for attention. They become expressions of a heart that is aligned. Reordering priorities also prepares you for future trust. God knows what lies ahead. He knows what will require strength, discernment, and clarity. By reordering priorities now, He ensures that future seasons do not overwhelm you. He is preparing you to carry more without losing peace. This preparation often feels like narrowing. Fewer things feel essential. Fewer voices carry weight. Fewer demands control your decisions. This narrowing is not limitation. It is focus. God focuses the heart so it can move forward with confidence. When priorities are aligned, decisions become clearer. You know what deserves a yes and what requires a no. You recognize what aligns with God's leading and what distracts from it. Reordering priorities also deepens trust. You begin to trust that letting go will not cause loss, that releasing control will not result in chaos, that God knows how to lead you into what matters most. This trust is not theoretical. It is practiced daily through small choices, choosing peace over pressure, choosing presence over performance, choosing alignment over urgency. God honors these choices. If today you sense that your heart is being rearranged, do not resist it. Do not rush to define it. Allow God to continue His work gently. Reordering priorities is one of the kindest ways God leads His children. He is not stripping life of meaning. He is restoring it. As this episode continues, remember this. When God reorders your priorities, He is not taking something from you. He is giving you clarity, peace, and focus that will support what comes next. Something deeper is being aligned. And when the time comes to move forward, your heart will already know where it belongs. Let's pray together, God. We come before you today with open hearts. We sense that something within us is shifting, even if we cannot fully explain it. What once felt urgent feels quieter. What once demanded our attention feels lighter. And in this unfamiliar space, we invite you to lead us gently. You see the rearranging happening inside us. You know the attachments you are loosening. You know the weight you are lifting from our hearts. You know the clarity you are forming, even before we do. Today, we choose not to resist this work. We release the need to hold on to everything we once thought was essential. We let go of the pressure to keep pace with expectations that no longer align with your will. Teach us how to trust you as you reorder what matters most. God, quiet the noise that competes for our attention. When urgency tries to lead us, slow us down. When comparison distracts us, ground us in truth. When obligation weighs us down, remind us of grace. Help us recognize what deserves our energy and what does not. Give us discernment to choose wisely, not fearfully. Teach us how to say yes with peace and no without guilt. God, we surrender our priorities to you. We place our schedules in your hands. We place our commitments in your care. We place our desires before you with humility. If you are removing something, give us grace to release it. If you are shifting focus, give us clarity to follow. If you are asking us to slow down, give us patience to trust the process. God, restore alignment in our hearts. Let our lives reflect what truly matters to you. Keep relationship at the center. Protect our intimacy with you from being crowded out by activity, even good activity. Teach us how to live from connection rather than pressure. We ask you to guard our peace. When decisions arise, lead us by peace, not urgency. When choices feel heavy, help us pause and listen. When fear tries to rush us, anchor us in trust. Thank you for caring enough to reorder our priorities. Thank you for loving us too much to let us carry what was never meant to be central. Thank you for preparing our hearts for what comes next. We trust you with this process. Continue your gentle work within us. Shape our focus. Align our desires. And lead us forward with wisdom, clarity, and peace. We rest in you now. Amen. As we come to the end of this episode, allow your heart to remain in this quiet place of alignment for just a moment longer. You are not losing direction. You are being guided with wisdom. When God reorders your priorities, He is not taking purpose away. He is restoring it. You may not have language yet for what is shifting inside you. That is okay. God does not always explain reordering while it is happening. He allows clarity to come gradually, as peace settles and focus becomes simpler. If certain things feel less urgent now, trust that. If certain demands no longer carry the same weight, honor that. God is teaching your heart how to carry life without unnecessary pressure. He is freeing you from expectations that do not align with your calling. He is helping you invest your energy where it truly matters. Reordering is an act of care. God does not remove what is essential. He removes what distracts from what is essential. He does not empty your life. He aligns it. As you move forward from this episode, resist the urge to immediately fill the space God has created. Let simplicity remain. Let clarity deepen. Allow your heart to adjust to this new rhythm without guilt or fear. You are allowed to live with intention rather than urgency. You are allowed to choose peace over pressure. You are allowed to say no to what no longer aligns. God will not lead you into confusion. As priorities settle, direction will follow naturally. You will recognize what deserves your attention because your heart is no longer divided. If this episode spoke to your heart, continue walking with God in this posture of trust. Stay attentive to the quiet shifts. Stay open to refinement. Stay grounded in relationship. God knows exactly what He is doing. What He is aligning now will support what comes next. What He is clarifying now will protect future obedience. What He is simplifying now will sustain long-term faithfulness. You do not need to rush ahead to prove alignment. Let it unfold gently. God's work in reordering priorities is thoughtful, intentional, and loving. As you return to your day, carry this truth with you. When God reorders what matters most, He is leading you into a life that is lighter, clearer, and more centered on Him. Trust the process, honor the peace, and remain open to the wisdom of God's timing. He is guiding you well, and you are exactly where you need to be.